Hey dance team, this is a MELT method map for hip pain or tightness, and it's a great one to do after a long day of dancing. So in order to hit the hip, we're going to go kind of all the way around the upper parts of the thigh, come around the glute and the tailbone area as well. So we're going to start off with the inner thigh. So I'm going to lay down on my side. You've seen this before in the knee one. If I kind of reach out with the roller, arm's length, I'm just going to kind of tip it a little bit back toward me so the inside of my knee is on there. Rest my head down, rest my foot down, and then rock forward and back with my pelvis. So we're just drawing fluid to this area by giving a little bit of light compression. Now I'm going to pause and then bend and straighten the leg. And then keep my knee bent, lift and lower the foot. Again, if any of this is too painful, hi Cassie, you can always skip it. You can do something instead. I can also, if that's too painful, I can just keep my toes down, pump the knee up and down if that's a little more kind. And take a breath and wait. And then I'm going to move it a little bit higher and then hit a different part of the inner thigh, top part. Again, just rocking forward and back. A few times here, as relaxed as you can be. And then bend and straighten the leg. You know the pattern by now. Keep the knee bent, lift and lower the foot. 5 or 6 times, and then I'm going to keep the toes down, pump the knee up and down like I'm scratching an itch on the inside of my thigh here. And then now we're going to work the same leg, front of the thigh. So I'm going to come up onto my forearms and then turn away from the roller. So now this leg is down on the ground, taking some of the pressure off, and you can always slide that roller over a little bit to get it out of the way of the other leg. And then I'm going forward and back, gliding on the front of my thigh, very top. Oh yeah. And then same pattern here, bend and straighten the leg. And then keep the knee bent, and I'm going to windshield wiper the foot in the air this time. Ooh, feel that. And then I'm going to put the foot down, and then I can kind of just shimmy my hips side to side here. All right, and now I'm going to do the same thing on the other leg. So starting with the inner thigh again, lying down on my side, kind of arm's length away, tip the roller in toward me, and then set the inside of my knee on it, foot down on the ground, and then again I'm going to fall forward and back with the whole body here. And then we'll bend and straighten the leg. This feels good for anybody even without hip pain. So parents, if you're watching this, tell me what you think about it. Okay, now we're keeping the knee bent and we're lifting and lowering the foot. And then keep the toes down, pump the knee up and down. And now we'll do a second spot, higher up on the inner thigh. Same thing in the beginning, we're just going to glide by moving forward and back on the roller. And then bend and straighten the leg here. Keep the leg bent, lift and lower the foot. You might notice one side feels completely different than the other. That's definitely the case for me. Keep the toes down and then pump the knee up and down. You can always start with this one if the other two are too painful. Or only do this one. All right, now I'm going to come up. And again, I'm going to rotate all my forearms here away from the roller. Now I've got one knee bent here, and then I'm gonna glide on the front of my thigh. And you can kind of tip it, tip your pelvis a little bit, change the pressure on the inside and the outside here. Oh, yeah. And then pause, bend and straighten the leg. And keep the knee bent, windshield wiper the foot. And then I'll straighten the leg and kind of shimmy my hips side to side. Feels good. All right, now we're going to come onto our backs, all the way down on the floor. And then remember, where I set this roller is really important. I'm gonna pick up my hips and put it kind of right above my tailbone. So it's not on my low back at all. The top of my hips, I can feel those hip bones here, and they're on this side of the roller. So on this front curve toward my rib cage, toward my body. We're gonna pick the knees up. If I bring them toward my chest and the roller doesn't fly out, you know you're in the right spot. But I still like to just set my hands next to my hips here. And then what we're gonna do is keep the rib cage down and in, hold the core engaged there, and then I'm gonna march the knees slowly up and down. And I wanna feel that making the pressure right above my tailbone here on my SI joint. And then I'm gonna tip them over slightly to one side, so now my hip kind of just barely touches my thumb. I'm not all the way over to the side, I'm just on one side of my tailbone. Again, the knees are close to me, and the move is small. We're gonna come to the other side. Keep that rib cage down, core is engaged. March those knees. All right, now let's set the left foot down onto the floor, and then I'm going to wrap my hands around my right knee here. Take an inhale, and then on exhale, I'm gonna tuck my pelvis, my rib cage, pull the knee in toward my chest, and then think about finding that length and energy through the left leg. So I'm not relaxed, I'm engaged in this one with my muscles, using that to find that tensional pull in the front of the hip here. Should be a nice deep opener. And then let's switch sides. So again, I'm gonna take a breath in, exhale, tuck the pelvis, engage my abs, think about lengthening, activating through that front hip on the right side. Feels good. All right, now we'll come back to the first leg that we did, and then what we're gonna do next is drawbridge. So I'm going to keep this knee pulled in toward my chest, lengthen out this leg here, and then what I want to do is reach with this same side arm and think about lengthening fingertips to toes away from each other and turn my head away. So if I'm on my left side lengthening, I'm going to turn toward the right. Breathe in and then exhale. Think about getting as long as you can between your fingertips and your toes. It should be easy for you as dancers. Let's do the other side. So I'm going to pull this knee in, staying in that tuck, reaching long with this leg, keeping it active, and again, actively reaching my fingertips to my right side. And I'm going to exhale and turn my head to the left. So trying to create some space in that socket here. All right, from there, I'm going to come up. So we're going to be sitting on top of the roller. So roll that out from under you, come on up, and then literally just put your booty on top of it. And what I'm going to do now is have my hands in front, leaning forward, just going to glide right on my two sits bones. About 5 or 6 times forward and back, and then now I'm going to reach back spine, engage my core, stay light in my feet. And I'm gonna glide on the other side of that tailbone. And then just like we did when we were on our backs, you're gonna tip to one side here of the tailbone and glide here. Usually people start making faces when we get to this point, so let's do the other side. And then now we're gonna come onto our side hip here. So down onto my forearm, knees are bent. I'm trying to get in the right spot here. So my leg bone is down here. I'm above the top of my leg bone. I'm below my hip bone in that space in between. And then I'm just gonna go back and forth, kind of explore. You might find a few lumpy bumpies in there. Definitely for me. And then I'm going to find one of those barriers, and then I'm going to open and close the knee like a clam here. So contracting the muscle against the roller. It's like squeezing a wet sponge. We're trying to create more surface area for that connective tissue fluid to occupy. So, all right, we'll pause. And then let's do that on the other side. So I'm going to come over again onto my forearm, and then I'm above my leg bone and below my hip bone here. That soft space in between. And both knees are bent. Just taking as much pressure off the roller as you need to. Just gliding back and forth. Oh, this side is very different than the right. All right, I'm going to find tender spot, kind of come up next to it, and then again, lift and lower the knee. You want to feel that contraction against the roller. All right, now let's come back to the first side, back and forth, guys. And what I want to do here to set up is where kind of this hip crease is. I want that to be the top of the roller here. And then what I'm gonna do is straighten the leg, straighten both legs. I'm gonna come all the way down, come down slowly on this one. Straighten the bottom leg. Actually, I'm gonna bend it slightly here, just for some stability. And then I'm gonna reach my arm, grab it above the elbow. And then again, what I'm trying to do is find length here. So inhale and then exhale. Reach fingertips and toes away from each other. And I'm actually going to tuck my pelvis so you can see that happening. Finding a lot of space right above that hip. And then let's do it on the other side. Slowly come out of this. I'm going to push up onto my forearm. Take a second there and pause. And then I'm going to go to the other side. This is the last thing here. So again, I'm going to find, kind of put that roller right where my leg crease begins. And then slowly come down to the ground. Bend my arm. I'm going to catch my top one here. And then inhale. And then exhale. Find length. And tucking my pelvis here. So I want to feel a lot of release right there. Oh, it feels good. Now you dancers might need it a little deeper. I can show you how to raise this or get this a little higher, prop it up to find more depth, but we can work on that another time. All right. Now I'm going to come onto my forearm, take a second pause, and then slowly come on off the roller. And then now, push that out of the way. Let's just see how the body is feeling. We're going to come down to the floor, and we kind of turn our focus to this pelvis area. We want to feel like we are resting on the flesh of our glutes versus propped up on our tailbone and our pelvis. So notice if you've been able to make that change. Notice if you have a low, relaxed, small curve in your back versus a high domed up towards your rib cage. So if we've done that, we've done what we needed to do. See you next time.